Hello, my friends. Welcome to the seventh session of the Legal Theory Concept, Unit 3. Now, in the previous sessions, we discussed about the concept of the rights, duties, wrong at large, along with its kinds, the titles, the status, and the mens rea, and the exception to that concept. Now, when we are deciding the liability part, my friends, we should never forget the concept of the intention and the negligence, which is of course one of the very important elements to create the liability and to decide the mens rea at large. So let's get started with the understanding of the concept of the intention first. So that brings us to asking this question, that what do we mean by the word intention? How would you determine the intention? And what would be the consequence of those intentions? So my friends, as you can see on the screen, intention is the purpose or design with which an act is done, which may be the intention to perform some act or to bring out some other consequences. An act is intentional when it is foreseen and desired by the doer. That means, my friend, that if I am throwing this phone out of the window, I had an intention to break this phone. I knew that it will be broken because it is falling from the first floor. So, even after knowing the consequences and even after having that purpose in mind of harming the phone, I am doing that act, then I am establishing my intention as a wrongdoer. Friends, when we are talking in terms of the crime, we are very well aware about the basic four stages to constitute the commission of the offense. What constitutes an offense under the law of crimes? The first is the intention. Did I have the intention, or did any individual have that intention at the time of doing that act? Then, if I had the intention, did I prepare to act towards that intention? Did I secretly capture the phone, or did I did any act which can be constituted as a preparation stage for committing the crime? The third is the criminal attempt, and the fourth one is the commission of the offense. So my friends, as you can see in these four stages, the intention becomes the most vital part of the whole offense commission. If the intention was not there, if the intention was unforeseen or undesired by the doer of the act, then the whole concept of the intention would lapse, it would collapse. And that means, my friends, that the liability formation part would not be there on that doer of that act. That means that intention becomes very important element when we are discussing the concept of the liability. A person shall be punished if he intentionally and willfully does any act which is prohibited by the criminal law of the land, of course. He shall also be criminally liable if he does a forbidden act negligently or carelessly without bothering about the consequences following therefrom. That means that if I am doing some act intentionally which follows the bad consequences of bothering of something, or rather I'm negligently and carelessly doing that act to have that consequence which is forbidden act, then that would constitute an intentional, that would constitute a liability on my part, and then I will be punishable under the law of the land, of course. There are, however, some exceptional cases where a person is held liable irrespective of his wrongful intention or culpable negligence. Such cases are covered under what is known as the strict liability cases. Thus, the wrong incurring penal liabilities are of three kinds, considered from the point of the view of the mens rea, of course. So this means, my friend, that the intention becomes very important to understand, imply, and examine when we are discussing or when we are putting the liability on some wrongdoer. If the intentions were not bad, if the intention was not harming or about bothering, if the act which was done did not have any bad intentions, that means, my friend, he did not have any guilty mind, that means the mens rea was not there in existence, then the liability cannot be there on that individual. So as I stated earlier, intentions and mens rea are very important parts when we are talking about the liability. But at the same time, we must never forget the concept of the negligence, my friends. Salmond observes that negligence is capable carelessness. That means I could have been more cautious while doing that act, but I decided to be careless about it. The, to quote him, of course, the negligence is a state of mind of undue indifference towards one's conduct and its consequences. It is carelessness in the manner in which carefulness is obligatory under the law and carelessness excludes the wrongful intentions. That means I I did not even try to do something which I should have been doing with the prudence as an individual. I acted negligently. I acted carelessly while doing that act. What are the results and what would be the consequences of such carelessness? Intentional act is one that was foreseen and desired by the doer. Forbearance is an intentional negative act. An unintentional negative act refers to an omission of that act. If I omit certain activity, an omission is non-doing a given act without adverting the act of not done. That means, my friend, that negligence is not intentional or unintentional. It is about omission of that duty that you had to do as a prudence man, as a man of an average intelligence. You should have been doing that part. But what if you did not? That means, my friend, you acted carelessly and negligently. Austin also was of the opinion that an omission is not the consequence of an act or the will, but of the state of the mind which is styled negligence and implies the absence of the will and the intention. According to Holland, the negligence includes all those shades of inadvertence which results into injury to others, but there is total absence of the consciousness on the part of the doer. That means, my friends, that the negligence as a tort is a breach of a legal duty to make care which results into the damages. So, which is undesirable, of course, by the defendant to the plaintiff. Thus, there are three main ingredients to create the negligence part. The three are written there on the screen. The first one is the legal duty to be fulfilled. Second, the breach of that particular duty. And the third one is the consequential damages. If if any one of these three is absent, then the negligence cannot be stated to be constituted. The duty must be recognized by the law. A merely moral or religious duty will not suffice. Duty means a restriction of the defendant's freedom of conduct, and a particular restriction here is that behaving in a very reasonable and careful manner which a person or a man of a normal prudence would act in that circumstance. So, even negligence has certain parts. So, there are two kinds of the negligence. The first one is advertent negligence and the second one is inadvertent negligence. Now, what do you mean by advertent negligence? As you can see on the screen, it is called willful negligence or recklessness also. In this negligence, the harm done is foreseen as possible or probable, of course, but it is not willed. That means I did not determine to do that act. I was just reckless while doing it. Then I was just, I did not foresee. I mean, I knew if I acted in this way, it would result in this way, but I did not will to do so. For an example, a person who drives furiously in a crowded street causes injury or harm to the other people commits it by the advertent negligence. For legal purpose, such negligence is classed with the concept of the intentions. That means in the eyes of the law, that advertent negligence would be considered of doing that act with intention of harming the other people. And if it is taken like this in the eyes of the law, then the person will be held liable for doing that act. That means, my friends, that advertent negligence provides or fulfills the liability in a positive way on the wrongdoer, even without having the willfulness to be taken into consideration. Now the next concept, my friends, is inadvertent negligence, or rather simple negligence. The negligence which is a result of the ignorance, thoughtfulness or forgetfulness is an inadvertent negligence. In such negligence, the harm caused is neither foreseen nor willed. For an example, a doctor who treats a patient in a property through the negligence as forgetful is guilty of inadvertent negligence. That means in the eyes of the law, he will not surely be held liable. That means he did not foresee the further consequence coming in the way, or rather, he did not will that unintentional consequence to be followed because of his negligence. He was thoughtfulness or careless, or rather, he was forgetful about doing that act while doing that act. So this was the concept of the mens rea, then intention, and of course the negligence when we are discussing the concept of the liability. Now we shall be discussing about the kinds of the liability, my friends. Now kinds of the liability we shall be discussing in the next session. Till then, keep learning. Thank you.